Dear Verastructor, I'm interested in the stories that we tell about Verastruct. Everything ultimately is a story. And that story, if at all possible, should include a mention of reality. Otherwise, you imply things that shift reality. And one of the stories that we tell about Verastruct is, of course, reality itself. That's the story I've been telling for the past few months. And the story that my wife Jess so often tells of Verastruct is one of birth. Amazingly, her efforts to film, edit, upload, and to create a screenshot and a title, all of that took longer than the birth itself. That's how fast the birth was, is it took less time to birth our last child at home, unassisted, breech, than it took for her to put together the video and to get it to you, dear Verastructor. That's amazing. So one of the stories that we tell is of birth, because it's such a simple thing. We end up talking more about it than actually doing it. And the actual doing of it is so much better than any of the talking that we do. And it defines so much of life. I like what Yolanda Norris Clark, famous contributor to Free Birth Society, what she always says is, birth is the launching point for a life more natural lifestyle. I think consistency is still the world-changing power, as I stated in a previous video, but I like that. Another story that we tell about Verastruct is houseplants. Where are they now? Where are they when we need them, right? Pretty soon I'll have some plants here to view in future videos, but for now, I don't have plants, and it kind of scares me a little bit. I do feel the gray of an office and the feeling like I'm solidifying in that space. Totally the case without my plants here. I end up spending not that much time in taking care of the plants compared to how much I talk about them. And yet the experience is extremely enjoyable, and once again, I feel like plants are another one of those building blocks of a natural lifestyle. Having plants in your life is a building block of a natural lifestyle. Even if you continue to go on to specialize in interacting with humans or with animals or with the earth, plants need to be an important element of your life. We tell stories about slow living, decelerationism, modernism, postmodernism, metamodernism. One that I have slowly started to tell, but haven't told enough, is this idea that anything that you might want, you can grow it instead of building it. It sounds like a science fiction story. It's not a science fiction story. What it is, it's a story of shifting priorities at the individual level for many, many people. You shift your priority away from building homes, something that we have spent millennia perfecting, getting better at, trying to make it as convenient and as simple as possible. Imagine if we had spent all that time trying to grow them instead. So that's another story that I like to tell, but one that I hope to tell more in the future, and less about houseplants in particular, and more about growing anything that you might need instead of building it, working with plants instead of chopping them down, and making Frankenstein monsters out of their dead body parts, which is ultimately most of human invention and human invention and production and work. So sad. And literally a wall behind me is just a Frankenstein monster of dead plants. I hope to tell more stories about the family in general in the future. And I hope to tell more stories about slowing down, but also of being consistent, and of life, and less about death. You are a deep fountain of unique identity, Verastructor. Have a lovely week.